Welcome back. Well, now it's time to take a look back at the property market industry. Now we've enlisted not just the help of a local estate agency, but a global one, Remax. So here's the history on the Costa Blanca. Well, I think to analyse how we've got to the situation now, we need to take a look back towards the past. So I'm joined now by Ulrich from Remax Orkendo. Thanks for coming in from Torrevieja today. Like I say, we need to analyse what's going on now, and obviously I'm hearing it is a buyer's market. So let's look back at the current real estate situation. Say, take us back from 1992, Ulrich.
Yeah, that's about where we had the last recession. The last 15 years, so really basically from 1992 to 93 to about 2007. So everybody, it was really a situation, everybody had the feeling they had to buy a property, because in particular in this area here, this very popular area, well-known area all over Europe.
It was an unprecedented rush to buy properties.
Absolutely.
It was crazy.
Absolutely. And it is called the Florida of Europe, so we really have every European nation down here. And it was times where Torrevieja was the biggest building site of Europe. So it was cranes all over the place, because there was such a high demand, big demand. People bought more properties than they could build. So
looking at the real estate, it was a seller's market.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a seller's market. Seller's market, what it means really is, it's the seller that puts the price on the property. Mm-hmm. So because if you come as a buyer and you want to buy a property, but there is such a shortage on property, well, you take what there is, and the one that sells a property, he just puts the price on it, and he is not worried that you are not going to buy this, or you don't want to pay that sort of money for the property, because he just says, well, step aside, please let the next through, because there were so many that wanted to buy a property. So
economy-wise, everything was fine, no problems. Prices for properties were going up month by month. Absolutely. And it took us to sort of 2006, 2007, which were the high years, high prices.
Yeah, exactly. All the European economies were splendid. They were very healthy, loads of employment, everybody had money, they had money to spend, and on top of that, the banks lent money with ease.
It was easy to get a mortgage, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And the interest rates were rather low, so everybody had pretty easy access to mortgages, and properties back in the UK, for example, they went up in price as well. People took off the equity they could get on their property back home, bought with the money down here a property, so it was very easy. From what happened down here was there was this idea for the builders. So they say, well, if we can sell so many properties, but we can't build that quickly, what we have to do, we have to build parallel, we have to build more and more properties in order to satisfy the demand. Okay. And that worked up to about 2006, 2007, that when the whole turned around, when suddenly there was less demand. For example, different reasons for it. We know we had the worldwide recession. Mm-hmm. We know that the interest rates went higher. We know that the pound sterling lost considerably against the euro. So all these things came together, and suddenly there was less demand.
Right.
So the whole situation was just the other way around. There was little demand for many properties. So a huge supply on properties, many off-plan properties, many new build properties, and no demand, or hardly any demand. Properties are still selling, still nowadays are selling, but obviously not that many anymore, as in the 2000 up to 2007.
Okay, so let's bring us into the present before we go on into the future and what it's going to look like over the next 6-7 years, because everything does go in cycles. So, you know, we've had the going upward curve, and we hit the top at 2006, 2007, and now we're on the decline.
Yeah.
So is this why we've got the bargain properties, or would you just say they're more realistically priced now?
Well, they are more realistically priced. Obviously, they are bargain properties against the prices what we paid in 2007 when the market was on its peak. It's a very, very good moment to buy a property, really. I mean, we are at the level of 2003, 2004 at the moment.
Okay.
So, and everybody really at the moment, prices are down. We are selling in Torrevieja prices, properties for prices that are probably half of what they were in 2007.
Wow.
So then you can really talking about a bargain. So it's not the 10%, not the 20% you get off. We have properties that were selling 3 years ago for double the price we are selling now.
Right.
And that's really the only properties that are selling, the one that are good bargains, so the good offer.
So do you think that the market is going to, or the value of the market is going to go down before it goes up? Do you think we've seen it level off yet?
No, I feel, and this is coming from analysis we've done, that it will take at least another year or two until we really reach the bottom line. It's still, this is very, we have to make the difference of on a national basis, prices on a national basis in Spain, and prices in this area here. We have specific, well, this area has some specific characteristics. It's a second residency area, it's a touristic area, so it's not comparable to a market like Madrid, Barcelona, or somewhere else in northern Spain. This area will take another, at least as I said, another year or two until really reach the bottom line. Until then, the prices will go not as quickly anymore as they've gone down in the last 3 years, but they will have to go down for another year or two, slowly but surely.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be quizzing you a little bit later on in the series because obviously there are 1.5 million properties for sale over here, so we need to know how to sell them.
That's it.
But for now, thank you, Ulrich.
You're welcome.
Well, it sounds like now is a very good time to buy if you're basing it on price. But is it safer than before? Join me after the break as I'll be asking our legal experts from TLA Corp if it is safer to purchase now on the Costa Blanca. Welcome back. Well, with thousands of properties for sale, there's a lot of competition. So how do you make your property stand out from the crowd when you're selling? Well, over to Ulrich now for some advice in the Seller's Guide. So Ulrich, we're learning that it definitely is a buyer's market, but what do you do if you're a seller in this market situation?
Yeah, that's at the moment. Being a seller in a buyer's market is a tough situation because you're up against a lot of competition. You're up against private sellers. You're up against banks that are selling their stock off. You're up against the builders that are competing with you. So really, selling is like going fishing.
Going fishing?
Going fishing, yeah.
Okay.
Now imagine yourself, you're sitting in your boat, and you know that down there is a bank of fish.
Right.
So what you got to do is you got to put your bite right where the fish are. Because if you put it too high, if you price your property too high, you won't have anybody interested in. You won't have no fish coming to even look at it.
Right.
If you just place it, but not in the bank, but just somewhere a little bit further down of the surface, there might be one or the other fish coming up of that bank, out of that bank, coming up looking at it, but not really being interested and definitely not want to have doesn't even make an offer for it. So what you really need to do right from the first moment you put your price on your property on the market, you got to bring your bite right down where the fish are. So what you got to do is pricing your property at the right price. It's all about analysis, it's all about being informed about what's going on in the market.
In the marketplace.
Absolutely.
And as we've said earlier, there are 1.5, 1.8 million properties on the market,
Yes.
so yours has really got to stand out from the crowd.
Absolutely.
And it's price that's going to do that?
Yeah. It's price mainly, that's the one and most important topic when putting a property for sale at the moment in today's market is the price. Many properties are not selling because of the price. Many private owners are just very emotional when they're pricing their property. They know what they bought for, they know what they invested into it, and they know that their property is nicer than the neighbors.
Right.
But your buyer is not interested in this. Your buyer is just looking out of the big demand there is. He's just looking out the one that he most likes, and he makes an offer for it.
So you've got to keep emotions out of this when you're selling your property.
Absolutely, and that's normally where a professional real estate advisor can make the difference. When we sell a property, we got to, whether it's a private seller or whoever sells, you got to put yourself into the position of the buyer.
Okay.
So you got to look at it through the buyer's glasses, and the buyer is only interested in getting the best deal.
That's certainly what we're finding out with it being a buyer's market. But also, does it come down to marketing your property as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a part of pricing, the marketing is very important, because marketing is really the way to sell your property.
Right.
If you have it properly priced, but you do a poor marketing, you won't sell it. If you have a good marketing, but you have a wrong price, a price too high, you won't sell it either.
So no sale again.
No sale. And if you have both wrong, well, obviously no sale. So really the only way to sell your property is pricing is right. So put the right price on the property, and that's done by analysis and by know-how and knowledge of the market. And you want to marketing it to the right group of people, because that's what marketing is about. Analyzing where is this type of people, buyer who wants to buy this type of property.
So matching them up. Ulrich, good advice there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ulrich, throughout the series we've been chatting, and it's really come to light that the estate agency industry has changed dramatically and probably still has to change a little bit more. So it looks like we're moving into a new generation. Explain a little bit to me about how you see the future for the estate agency industry now.
Yeah, I think it's already the present. The real estate agent nowadays needs to be focusing on the seller, because it's the seller that has a problem that needs to be solved.
Whereas in the past, you would be concentrating on the buyer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The past was all about the buyer. Well, how can I find a property for the buyer? Where is it? And so on. So it was all the focus was on the buyer. I don't want to say there shouldn't be any focus on the buyer nowadays, but it's the one that's really in problems is the seller.
The seller.
Because with the market situation we have, we've been talking about that, with the fact that the prices are still going down, the seller needs to sell its property as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So, and that's where the real estate agent really need to be sharp on. The real estate agent needs to be a problem solver. He needs to be an advisor, a consultant for the seller. Needs to be able to put him or herself in the position of the seller and really see the problem through his or her eyes. That means networking. The real estate agent nowadays needs to be a networking person, really online, offline. He needs to be in permanent contact with the market. He needs to know what sells, what buys, who buys, and who are the other agents that can help him selling the property.
Right. So that is a different focus now compared to what it used to be back in the past.
Absolutely. We will see the whole industry probably going from a selling industry into a consulting industry.
Right.
What I think real estate should really be about. I mean, we are talking about assets. We are talking about big money that people spending on properties, buying.
It is a big investment, isn't it?
It is.
Know, it's probably one of the largest purchases you'll ever make.
That's it, and that needs to be made clear, and that the real estate agent really needs to have that very clear. You're talking with people's whole savings. So, and when somebody sells a property, that's what it is all about. And so the new generation real estate agent, he needs to be the seller's friend, really, acting in his or her behalf, and to sell the property as quick as possible. Need to be a consultant, to know very well what's going on in the market, to know the industry very well, and really be a very close, almost friend to the seller.
So how would you choose an agent?
Through interviewing him, really. When you ask an agent to come along to sell your property, ask him how he approaches the sale, how he gets through to the target group, that group that could be interested in buying, potential buyers. Ask him how he lays out his marketing plan. So what activities, what tools does he apply?
Right.
How will he will he make sure that as many buyers as possible will know that this property is for sale?
See my property. Good advice for the seller there, Ulrich. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Ulrich, I know you've got Oquendo in the city centre in Torrevieja itself. Well, thank you very much for being our guide. Now, Torrevieja has gone through some incredible changes. I'm led to believe that it used to be a very small fishing village.
Yes.
And the restaurant that we're filming in today was actually started in 1973. That's 38 years ago.
Yeah.
So, talk me through what changes Torrevieja's had and where the future's going.
Well, Torrevieja was a very small fishing village. Fish and salt, that was the main. We have the two big lagunas where salt is still being produced today, but that's always been the history of Spain and fish. So it really, when the first tourists arrived from Madrid, from northern Europe, Scandinavians were the first in Torrevieja, and then it slowly but surely converted into what's today. But it's gone through some very quick and tremendous changes, and but it's, I think, what I still like is it's maintaining its village character. And yeah, this restaurant is just an example. There is quite a few of this very old, traditional, stylish restaurant where you really feel you're still in rural Spain.
Yes, I particularly noticed in the last 5 to 6 years. A lot of investment's gone in. We've now got the Virgin del Carmen, we've got a cultural centre, the municipal theatre, we've got the new Torrevieja Hospital, which also I've been reading that Microsoft are going to have something to do with.
Yes, exactly.
What's that about?
Yeah, Microsoft actually just arrived the hospital is using a software program which Microsoft started to develop, and they've advanced it basically, and now Microsoft is so happy with this that they decided to come along and to build a research and development department right next to the hospital. So it's hopefully, and it looks like it's Torrevieja and this Vega Baja area will convert into the new Silicon Valley probably of Spain. Wow,
that's an incredible achievement for the Costa Blanca to have that name attached to it now.
Absolutely, and actually there is more and more now. Town halls are working more together in at this times. Orihuela Town Hall, Almoradi, Torrevieja in particular as the big town halls in the area. They are working together in order to create one big common development plan for the area, and actually the area has everything to be a new Silicon Valley or to be a new landmark for industrial development in the area.
Do you think then that the government, the politicians, etc., that they've learnt? Because when we look back at those crazy construction years, it did seem like it wasn't really planned, it just happened. But now it's almost like, that it's gone sort of stop and we've rethought about things. And obviously with a recession going on, you would think that a lot of things would stop, but they're not here. They're continuing. All of the pavements, the cafe culture now is all been redone.
Yeah.
So much going on.
Yeah.
So do you think they've learned or are learning?
Yeah, I think they do. Actually, also for the town halls of the past years, they were so hectic. They didn't really have the time to think, and everything happened so quickly. I think nowadays you really feel that the town halls, they're sitting down, think about future developments, think about how to improve, how to make their cities more attractive. And there is quite some new projects coming up. There is a huge project for the harbour area in Torrevieja. The whole inner city has been and is about and will be converted into more and more pedestrian areas for people to walk and without cars. We have a new sports complex that's just being it will be finished by summer this year, with about 12 tennis courts and even cricket pitches. So it's loads of development going on, and this is only good.
So if you were thinking about investing over here and purchasing a property or apartments to rent out for future, would you say this would be the place to be?
I think so. I would. If I had to, I would. Yes, because Torrevieja is, as we say, it's open all year through. There is other villages up and down the coast which are which is very quiet in very seasonal, quiet in winter and very busy in summer. But Torrevieja in particular in winter it's absolutely fabulous to come to, and there will be more jobs created. I'm sure there will be more things going on,
and that'll be very good for the economy.
Yeah.
Well, Ulrich, I know you've got a cracking property for us to see in Torrevieja itself, but we're also going to go to some of the outlying areas. So I think we ought to get on with that.
Let's go.
Well, Ulrich, what a turn-up in Torrevieja. I know you told me you had some stunning properties, but this, I think I can only describe it as stunning. Right on the beach one side and the city centre the other side.
Yeah. This is one of our featured property at the moment, really. It just came in, and it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, frontline property. Panoramic views onto the Mediterranean Sea. Walking distance to beach, city center, amenities to everywhere, and it is just one of this property, a one-off property we get.
It's light, it's bright, it's airy. I particularly love the central sort of kitchen, and then everything goes off of that. It's even got its own swimming pool downstairs.
It does, yeah. So really, this is urban living. This is what you probably want if you come along stressing out, and this is where you want to be. You don't want to be somewhere else.
Now, it is on the 7th floor, so it has got lift access.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 lifts working all year long.
I think it's so bright and airy. I love it. I mean, talk about falling in love with Torrevieja all over again.
Yeah.
But the all-important thing, Ulrich, how much is this property?
Now, again, this property wouldn't have sold about 3 years ago for less than €500,000. Now we have it for sale at the moment for €235,000. So just almost about half of what it had sold for 2-3 years ago.
I can't believe it. It is amazing.
It is a really bargain at the moment.
Unique, stunning property. But now we're going to go and find another one because we're going to Lazinia. Ulrich, you've brought me to this one, which I cannot believe is just €75,000. A stone's throw from Torrevieja. Where are we, and talk me through the property?
Yeah, we are in the Lazinia area, so just about 5 minutes from the Lazinia beach, 5 minutes from the Campo Amor beach, and we are sitting on the roof terrace of this beautiful property.
It is gorgeous,
isn't it?
Yes, and I can actually see the sea.
We can see the sea from here. We have the sea to this side. We have the golf courses of Campo Amor, Las Ramblas, Villa Martin, about 10 minutes from here. Torrevieja itself, the city center, is just about 10 minutes drive from here over the national road. And this is a very quiet area because it's only it's like a cul-de-sac area here. So and here we are sitting on the roof terrace enjoying the sun.
So the property itself comprises of
2 bedrooms, full bathroom, American stylish kitchen. We have a gallery to it where you have the white goods outside, the washing machine, the heater. And we have a lounge and a balcony to it, and again this roof terrace up here.
At €75,000, it's a great investment, isn't it? You could come over just for the weekend, or for a month or 2 months you could rent it out. Brilliant.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, I thought this property is ideal for the show because it shows what you can get nowadays. This property wouldn't have sold 3 years ago for less than €140,000. We are down to €75,000 now. So this is, I think, a real bargain.
It is definitely a bargain. All right, great. We must move on to the next one though now.
Here we go.
Ulrich has brought me into Los Montesinos to a fantastic, stunning, traditional family home. Ulrich, this is something else. Very Mediterranean, very typical, very Spanish. Is it what you would determine as a proper finca?
That's what exactly it is. It is what we really understand of a Spanish finca. It is 10,000 square meter plot, just in the outskirts of Los Montesinos, and it has 2 houses on it, which is also very typical. for big Spanish families. It has this beautiful master house, and it has a guest house next to it.
So that would be like a summer house, guest house, summer house.
Yeah, that's how they use it. You see, big families, that means 5 kids with family, with grandchildren or whatever. They all come together, they sit together, they eat together, and they are around the pool area, which we also have. And this is what the Spanish families do.
This is the Spanish lifestyle.
Absolutely.
This is what we all buy into when we do come over here.
Yeah.
So just run through for me, in the main house, the master house, where we're on the terrace now, the bedrooms, the bathrooms, reception rooms, and then also what have we got in the summer house, which we're going to go into shortly.
Yes, we have, when we enter the summer house, we have a huge inside barbecue area with a huge wooden table which you can't move.
Okay.
We have 2 bedrooms bordering to it and a bathroom, so that's really for guests to stay.
That's the summer house we'll go to shortly. And the main master?
The master house has on the ground floor, where we are on the veranda of, on the ground floor 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it has on the first floor another big sized bedroom and an ensuite bathroom. We have quite a spacious terrace onto that master bedroom upstairs as well. And we have underneath this floor here, we have an underground private parking where there is about 5 cars fitting in.
5 cars, and I'm also led to believe there's a bodega downstairs as well, so we'll go and investigate that as well.
Also very typical Spanish, the own bodega.
Oh, of course, of course. Ulrich, let's go through to the summer house.
Okay.
Well, Ulrich, I was very impressed with the master house, and I'm equally as impressed with the summer house or the guest house. I mean, look at this for cooking facilities.
Yeah, this is a great feature. This is what we call an inside barbecue area, or barbecue kitchen even. You can do meat in here, you can do fish in here, you can do your own bread in here.
I think you can do pizza as well in there.
Pizzas in here, and you have underneath the unit which can be used as a heating unit as well. So, and it's absolutely fantastic for big parties, inviting loads of people, not using the master house, just come in this area here, this guest house. There is another 2 bedrooms attached to it, which can be used by guests, bathroom, full bathroom. So, and all that is just next to the master house and in front of the swimming pool.
It's super. That's all I can really say about it. It's like a Mediterranean dream, really.
Yes, it is. And I quite liked it when I first saw it, because it is so traditional Spanish. It is absolutely very, very Spanish.
We found a real thinker.
I think so.
2 perfect properties on a wonderful plot, Ulrich, in Los Montesinos. Now, geographically, where does Los Montesinos stand?
Los Montesinos is a village that's just about 10 miles from the coast, about 10 minutes to Torrevieja, and just about 5 minutes to the motorway, which brings you in less than half an hour to the Alicante airport.
So easy access everywhere, really.
Yeah.
Shops locally, beaches, players, everything that you possibly would.
And Spanish lifestyle.
Yeah, very much so. That's really what's come to the forefront of these properties. Now then, the important question, Ulrich, what would the price have been a few years ago, and what's the price today?
Yeah. Easily, this property would have sold 3 years ago for 2.5, 2.2 million euros, easily. Nowadays, and this is why we are here, I think even at that price it's still a good bargain. It's at 1.15 million euros.
Wow, so it's very relevant, isn't it? It doesn't matter what size the property is, all of the prices have come down quite considerably.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, this property in particular, everything that comes with it at that price is a real bargain.
Very much so. Just before we go, Ulrich, Los Montesinos, it's become quite popular, hasn't it, with the expat market?
Yes, particular. I mean, the coast is the coast. That many people want to be on the coastline. That's where Torrevieja is. That's where Playa de Orihuelas is, where La Peña is, and so on. But there is many people who are looking more for more quiet Spanish traditional lifestyle, so go more a little bit inland. So Los Montesinos just covers this and offers for this type of people all that. Small village, still very Spanish,
There is foreigners around, but loads of Spanish still.
Great stuff. Ulrich, thank you very much. Well, Ulrich, it's nice to see you again. I've dragged you out of the office and onto the golf course.
Thank you very much again for that.
But I haven't promised you a game, but
No,
we'll have
not
to look
yet.
into that and see. Well, I wanted to talk to you this week, Ulrich, because last week I was talking about buying second homes and the competition within the different foreign countries. And obviously Spain came out sort of pretty well, and I would imagine that's because of the climate. And Mick was saying last week that when you're considering buying a holiday home, you need to look at accessibility, affordability and facilities.
Yeah.
Now, would you bear that out as well?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day it comes probably down to these three points. I come from a point where I say, before you think about the property, think about the reasons why you come out to here. Think about the style of life you want to live down here, because it is so different to back home. Check out the area, get to know what does it mean to live in a coastal touristic area like this area here, and then just say, okay, this is the style of life I want to live, and according to that you select the property you're going to buy, not the other way around.
Right. Well, you know, I've been talking to a lot of people, and they brought in the early 2000s and just after, and obviously they're trying to sell, and we've got the depressed market at the moment, so they can't sell, but they didn't quite get buying their property right.
Yeah.
It's not close enough to the facilities.
Yeah.
They didn't quite do it right. Do you think that was because the property came first for them rather than the lifestyle?
Very much so. It was kind of, the whole situation was just buy, and this is actually what probably some did wrong. I reckon, in particular nowadays, but always and wherever, think about why are you buying the property? What are you using it for? How often do you use it? You see, it's a very different whether you want to overwinter here in Spain, or whether you want to come out for a fortnight for a summer holiday, or whether you come out in winter. Do you want to be close to the beaches? Do you want to be on the golf course? Do you want to be in the city center? How often do you use the property? And according to that, and what do you do during the day? Do you like being on the beach? Do you like being on the golf course? Do you like bicycle riding? Do you like horse riding? Or are you just relaxing out here? So according to all this, you go for check out your boxes. You go for the property that fulfills this requirement.
That ticks the boxes that you want. I would certainly
Yeah.
agree with that. Now, one of the other things, there's communities over here. Now, we don't actually have those in the UK that I'm really aware of.
Yeah.
What would you say the benefits of community living are?
Well, the community looks after the community areas. They don't look after your house as such, but they look after everything that's being shared between all the neighbors.
So the gardens, the swimming pool,
For
etc.
example, yeah, it can be green areas. It can be, green areas means grass. Grass means it's growing. So whether you are there or not, but when you're coming, you want it to look nice, don't you? And you want the swimming pool to be ready when you're arriving, and you don't want to.
You don't want to spend a week doing your house up so that it's just right, and then you've got to get back on the plane and go home.
Exactly. So you want to have everything spot on. Some communities even offer, laundries, and so then when you come, your property even inside is ready to go, and you don't spend the first day or two to clean the property inside. So that's really, you pay for it. Obviously you pay a community fee, but depending on the community areas, depending on the maintenance that need to be done, but that's normally not big money, but it's well worth spending it.
So you would then say that choosing a holiday home will have different requirements to choosing a lifestyle change.
Yes.
If you're going for a lifestyle change, you would probably want to think about purchasing a car, because you're not going to need to get around. But if you're coming on holiday, whether it's long weekends or 2-3 weeks each summer, you might not need a car.
Yeah.
So, but you'd want to think about being close to the bars, the restaurants, the networking, the social networking.
Yeah.
And when you live here all year round, it is a complete lifestyle change, isn't it?
Completely. Keep in mind that back home you're living, but you're also working. So something which you probably don't do down here. So you have the whole day to spend on whatever you want to do. And what people want to do, they want to buy their dream home. So that means they're dreaming about it. They're dreaming not only about the house, they're dreaming about a certain lifestyle they want to live, that they've always wanted to live, and now they can do it. Now they have the time or they have the money to spend on a house, so they want to come down and do what they want to do. But think about what you really want to do. The house will allow you to do it. It's not the other way around.
So location, location, location is still a pretty important phrase.
Yes. Location at the end of the day is, okay, I am on the golf course where I always wanted to be. I am right on the beach where I always wanted to be. That's so location is basically so that you can walk out of your house, you have a few distances to the place where you want to be. Not all day long probably, but very often.
So you definitely agree then that it is accessibility, affordability, facilities, and let's put location on the end of that. Well, Ulrich, talking of buying and selling properties, I'm going to see you a little bit later on in the show because we're going to be talking about what the Americans call staging. But meanwhile, I'm going to leave you to have a round of golf. Thanks. And I'm going to go and uncover Pilar de la Horadada. So we'll see you after the break. Well, Ulrich, did you manage to get a game of golf?
Yeah, great actually. La Romero golf course here is a fabulous golf course, so it was a great experience all over again. So I played it a few times, but every time I'm coming along, it's great.
And it's quite a young golf course, isn't it, La Romero?
It is, but it already is very mature. It has loads of trees, which on the newer golf courses here in the area don't find that much. But this is very kind of hilly, it has loads of trees, it has loads of difficult holes on it, so it's a real challenge, and every hole is a real challenge.
Fantastic. Well, I too have had a lovely afternoon because I've been uncovering Pilar de la Horadada, and I've actually lived here for quite a few years and I had no idea just how much is here. The town is fantastic. There's 10 beaches and obviously the village of Campo Verde just behind with the Rio Seco, so it's really back to nature here. I'm quite loving it. But one of the things I want to talk about now is obviously when you're selling your property, because we've got so many out there on the market, pick the perfect spot to film now because we're right next door to a show house. So the Americans are doing this thing called staging. So what exactly is staging?
Staging is preparing the house for sale. So you lived in the house, you used it yourself, you left it to family, to friends and whoever, but you used it yourself. That's gone because you decided now you want to sell it. So prepare it so that everybody that's coming along looking at it will love it. So you really wanna push it up, you wanna pop it up. And in particular, in a market situation like at the moment, in a buyer's market, it's the buyer whom you want to impress.
Sure.
And your property is one out of many, and you want yours to just stick out. So staging is prepare it so that it looks great.
Okay, give us some basic tips and advice.
First of all, the idea is put yourself in the position of your buyer, of this person or these people that walking into your door, and you want them to fall in love with your property. You want them to buy it. I mean, a part of the price, whatever, but you want the property to look as nice as possible. There is, I'm not talking about spending loads of money on it, and I mean, you don't have to paint it all over, but probably you want to paint a room, you want to paint what you feel should be painted. You want to have it clean, you want to have it aired, so you want to have it air going through that it smells nice. You want to have the bathrooms look good and not, well, you definitely want
make the beds.
Yeah, make the beds. Things like that, you know, this is preparing it so that when somebody walks in, he can think himself living in that property.
And sort of visualise himself in
Yeah.
it. Is it true, Ulrich, that you should declutter, depersonalise and neutralise a property?
Yes, the person that walks in wants to see himself. He wants to see his trophies, he wants to see his family photos, he wants to see himself living in that property.
So he doesn't want to see yours. So put the photos away,
Yeah.
put the personal things away.
Yeah. Also, it hurts probably, but take it away. Just leave it somewhere. You probably already pack it in and you bring it back home. But make it as neutral as possible.
Okay, now normally, and I might get told off for this, but sometimes the Americans can go a little bit over the top. But so how far do you go with this? Just going back to sort of the painting thing,
Yeah.
because you've decided you want to sell that property, so you may not really care about it anymore.
Yeah.
So how far should you go?
Yeah. I mean, it's a question of budgeting. Obviously, you painting a room doesn't cost as much as painting the whole house. If the whole house needs to be painted, well, you probably want to do that. Painting is always something that immediately makes a huge difference.
Right.
You don't want to probably put a new worktop in the kitchen. You don't want to put just a new fridge in the kitchen because it probably increases the value of the property. So everything that you feel that has a visual impact on the buyer, that's what you want to improve.
Right. So when you say don't go putting a new worktop in, obviously your tastes could be completely different to the new purchaser, couldn't they?
A part of that, yes. I mean, again, keep it neutral.
Gardens?
Yeah, I mean, if
Cut
you
the
have
grass?
if you have outside garden, I mean, depending whether you have a bungalow, a townhouse, or a villa, or you're living in an apartment. But everything outside you want to have clean. You want to have the grass cut. You want to have the palms cut. You want to have the bushes cut. So everything should look nice. Just imagine yourself when you walked in your house. What did you feel? What did you think? So this is basically what your buyer feels and thinks.
Because the house has got to sell itself, hasn't it, at the
That's
end
it.
of the day? And there are, in this marketplace at the moment, an awful lot of properties
Yeah.
on the market.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Ulrich, thank you very much. That is some really good advice. So just to recap on it, it's neutralise, depersonalise, declutter, clean it up and make it look stunning, like you're going off to a wedding maybe. Yeah?
Yeah.
Ulrich, thank you ever so much, and look
Welcome.
forward to seeing you later on in the series.
Okay.
Well, that's all we've got time for on today's show, but I hope you've enjoyed it. So join us next week where there's going to be an awful lot more on It's a Buyer's Market.